Howdy, everybody. Welcome to BOMA Thursday. Today is Thursday, March 4th. I'm Krisjan with Stockrock Group and the secretary of BOMA Idaho. I'm joined today with Jana, as always, and Sheree Willhite, another BOMA Idaho board member and Idaho Power representative. Sheree, how are you?
Hello. Good. How are you? I'm
awesome. So, hey, before we get going, we've got a lot of cool stuff to talk about and some videos to show. Sheree, everybody that's watching this, people that don't know you, just take a minute and kind of introduce yourself and talk about what you do for Idaho Power.
All right. I'm Sheree Willhite, and I manage a new construction commercial program for energy efficiency incentives. We provide our customers for energy efficiencies for going above and beyond code, and those are cash incentives that get checks that get cut to them, and I manage that program for the new commercial.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay, so let's Idaho Power was a proud platinum sponsor of the symposium this year, and you guys produced a really cool commercial, and we're a big part of some of the other programs that we have. So let's before we do anything else, let's show those videos.
Let's do it. I'm going to share my screen here, and we're going to show this video here. So hopefully it'll work right the first time. Can you guys see that?
Starting to.
All right.
Hi, I'm Sheree Willhite, Senior Engineer for Idaho Power and BOMA board member. Idaho Power is proud to sponsor BOMA Idaho. BOMA members are also Idaho Power's customers, and we're happy to provide them with affordable, reliable, clean energy. You can feel good about the power that comes from Idaho Power. Nearly half of our energy comes from reliable, clean hydropower. And we've set a new goal. In 2045, we plan to provide you 100% clean energy. Idaho Power is also happy to provide our business customers with some of the lowest prices in the nation. In fact, we're 30% lower than the national average. And beyond that, we offer a wide range of programs for energy efficiency, as well as assistance to help you reduce your monthly bill and receive a cash incentive on your next new construction project or major renovation. So look to choose efficient lighting, HVAC, controls, compressed air, refrigeration, and even more. We are proud to support BOMA Idaho and its members to save energy and money. Now, here's one example of a company that took advantage of our programs. As an animal lover and an Idaho Humane Society volunteer, this project holds a special place in my heart. Thank you.
One of the biggest humane societies in the Northwest recently got a new home for its furry friends. The new Idaho Humane Society features outdoor catios, a perfect spot for a cat nap, more spacious dog kennels with noise control housing, natural light, and more play areas, along with a vet clinic double the size of the previous location. With the help of Idaho Power's energy efficiency programs, the new building offers a comfortable location to adopt out more dogs and cats than ever before.
The Humane Society is a nonprofit organization, and so they are fully funded by donors. And in order to show a responsibility to the donors in their design of this new building, they needed to really make sure that it was energy efficient and that the dollars that were being spent in a responsible way.
Energy saving features include HVAC controls, LED lights, and lighting controls, along with the use of natural light, reflective roof coating and insulation, efficient windows, glazing, and thermochromic glass that tints the windows when needed.
Well, not only is this facility energy efficient, but all of our systems work so much better. The air handling is so much more precise. There's no odor in this building. The sound is minimized. The lighting is terrific. It's a very restful environment for our animals. And so we achieve not only savings in energy efficiency, but also a lot more comfort.
In addition to energy savings and improved comfort, Idaho Power provided the Humane Society with cash incentives for reduced light loads, efficient exit signs, efficient HVAC units, and reflective roof treatments. These incentives will help people and pets for years to come. The Humane Society and design firm CSHQA worked closely with Idaho Power throughout the process.
I don't think that we have ever gone through some sort of application process as easily as we did with Idaho Power.
It was great. We were guided all the way along and received a lot of feedback and recommendations. And of course, the financial benefit was really nice at the end of the program to see. And in the end, we have a really green facility, which is, I think, really great for a humane society to be an example of that in the community.
Find ways to save your business energy and money at idahopower.com/business.
That was so good.
That was so good. Good job, Sheree.
Thanks.
I don't know how
Project,
the first time I
for
watched
sure.
that, I missed the catios. I don't know how I missed catios.
I did too. I was thinking the same thing. That's great. You know what? Did you guys film that when we did our building tour?
We did. We filmed it. It was the last BOMA in-person event we could do, was that building tour right before the pandemic and the shutdown. And we did film that during the tour. It was kind of just aligned. I'd recently paid that incentive and we were getting ready to put together the video, and I thought it aligned really well with the BOMA tour at the same time.
That was a great tour, just going through the hallways and seeing all the animals and everything. It's such a great facility. So what, as you guys were thinking about, and I know you probably do this a lot with your new commercial, you're thinking about testimonials and how to put those together. How did you guys decide on this, and what avenue did you take to sort of showcase this project?
Well, it's great to highlight our customers and the good things that they're doing, let alone the nonprofits, the school districts, and the people that are really using their funds wisely. You know, I think Danielle mentioned in the video that all of the funding for this were private donations. So it makes sense to make this a building that's going to operate great over time. It's going to reduce their bills. They're going to get an incentive check back from us that they can use in their programs or in their veterinary clinic, or can use in other means. So it's great to focus on those projects that really, really count. And the Idaho Humane Society does a great job. My daughter and I actually volunteer there. So I love the place. I mean, the community as a whole does a great job. Idaho Humane Society will tell you that they couldn't do the great work they do without the community. We have a great community of pet lovers. And so it's a great partnership to highlight what they're doing and how they're saving energy, they're reducing their load, they're making smart business decisions, as well as just helping out the animals in our community.
Awesome. Well, that was really fun to watch, and you did a great job on your BOMA commercial, your testimonial there.
Oh, it's always fun to see yourself on TV, right?
Everybody loves that, yeah. And hearing your voice, everybody loves that too.
Yeah. Look for that. No, you did a great job on that, and it was such a great event all the way around. I know you guys typically have participated on the panels in the past and that sort of thing, and your approach this year was so different. And well, obviously the event was different because it was virtual, so this just fit right in, but it just provided so much to look at the same time you were hearing the messages that you guys wanted to share. So as a platinum sponsor, now I live and breathe BOMA, and the symposium is a big part of that event. As a sponsor on the platinum level, how is the event for you guys? I mean, I know that a lot of your people go to it, you participate in it. What's the feeling when the symposium's coming? Are you guys as excited as I am to get on board? Nobody is.
Everyone is just excited as you are, Jana.
Well, Jana, I've always said you do a phenomenal job with this symposium. How many events in our Treasure Valley can draw in the attendees that BOMA Symposium does? It really is a great event. It allows the sponsors also to have that many people, that many eyes on their company, that many eyes seeing the commercial or even the Humane Society video. It really is done well. And Jana, you really are. I know I'm also on the BOMA board, so we all have some input, but really Jana kind of holds the symposium on her back and does a phenomenal job. As a sponsor, the more people at the event, the better. The more times that you can talk about the programs, I can talk about my energy efficiency programs, the more relationships I can grow and build over my time in BOMA is a value to me. I use those relationships to, for example, if a new project's going up, I may not know what project that is, but I can know a few people I can call and figure out what is this new commercial project going up? What's going on here? Can I talk to you about energy efficiency? Can I tell you what Idaho Power can do for you? It really is the showcase for the real estate market for commercially in Idaho.
And to kind of push those that information out there for people to be able to take advantage of some of those energy efficiency programs is something that we've talked about for a long time, right? We have talked about different ways we can do that. And I'm always amazed. Sheree will come to a board meeting and she'll go, well, I attended a code meeting the other day, and like a housing code meeting or some meeting, they were considering changing the codes for this. And I get the same emails she does as far as like the information, but I was like, Sheree, tell us about that meeting. Tell us about that, what it means for us to have, these codes changed in this certain way. And I just really have such a great respect for the way your engineering brain works and how you're able to understand all of those. Like you and Jeff Wardle, code people. You just do. You love them. You just go, you take advantage of the time you can go and have input in some of the changes at the most basic level of construction, right? When one of the first things to go in is electricity. And so when the processes change, that affects everybody. And so I really appreciate your input on that. So let's talk a little more about that, about education and some of the programs that you and I have talked about over the years and, pushing out to our membership to take advantage of. So there's a few that we've recently been talking to Josh over at Northwest Energy Efficiency on plugging into their calendar that they have for our members to learn some of those things. What else have we got?
Well, we want to provide our customers anything we can provide them with information. With the pandemic going on, we've kind of added some indoor air quality training, some of that stuff that we hadn't done in the past quite so strongly. So our trainings are kind of always evolving. When new code changes come up, we update, do some trainings on the new codes, what's different in the 2018 IECC, what is the best path to get to or the best construction to get there. So we always are kind of evolving our training. One of the groups that we use for a lot of our training is the Integrated Design Lab at the University of Idaho. Down there on the corner of Front and Broadway, there's some full-time building scientists, architects, and engineers that run that, as well as grad students. So quite a few grad students will go through the Integrated Design Lab. And we provide quite a few tasks with them, but I'll talk to you about a couple of them. One is what we call Lunch and Learn. And those are trainings that we go out to architects and engineers or organizations like AIA or BOMA, and we provide training. Right now we're doing that all virtually. Obviously last year we switched to a virtual platform. So now it's kind of easier for anybody to tune in virtually. And they are recording those as well, and those are on their website. So an idea of some of those, they're based more around design construction and building than they are on the other side of real estate or the pre-funding that goes on with a commercial building. So they're around design and construction. So example, we have, like I mentioned, the IAQ, the indoor air quality. We're talking about the best methods to clean the air, the ones that cost the least amount of energy to do that. We're talking about DOAS systems, which are direct outdoor air systems. We have some on high performance classrooms. So, there's a big draw of daylight, bringing in that into the classroom so that people are easily educated and they can learn better in a bright environment. So we have daylighting training as well. So we offer kind of a broad range of training. And also, if we get a request for training, we can also create a curriculum for that as well. So if there is something that you're interested in on the energy efficiency front, let us know and we can provide that training as well. One of the other things that IDL does for us, which is a task we call foundational services, any of our customers, commercial customers, can call the Integrated Design Lab with any energy efficiency question to do with electric energy savings. You can call the IDL and get free information from them, free help from them, and we fund that. So it's kind of ability for our customers if they have a simple question, what about this LED light bulb? How is the best way to daylight this space? They can call them direct and get training from these architects and engineers as well as grad students, which is great training for them as well. Our idea with the IDL is we build up these architects and engineers that know about energy efficiency, and then they go out into the world when they graduate and they're in architect firms or engineering firms, and they're able to take their knowledge with them. So it's kind of teach somebody to fish versus fish for them.
Right. I think, it's so interesting that you should bring up the indoor air quality, because we've talked about that for the past couple of months. Well, actually for almost the past year, right? That has been kind of a focus, but we talked just a couple of months ago to Poe over at Northwest Energy Efficiency Alliance and some of the programming that they do on evaluating indoor air quality and stuff and things like that. And it hadn't crossed my mind till you just said it, that we also have to make sure that's energy efficient to have cleaner air. That's just something that didn't, and I thought, well, of course, you know, you work on your HVAC system, but what powers that? So that is really interesting that you guys have that arm as well. And that is such an important factor to people moving into office space right now. We hear it a lot as far as what the turnover rate of the air is in their space. So that is super interesting. Awesome. Krisjan, I know I probably interrupted you there.
No. I was going to kind of say the same thing, that, yeah, I mean, obviously if you're running air handlers and that stuff more, you know, that takes more power. And of course, Idaho Power is working with everybody to make sure that's as efficient as possible. So, I mean, obviously, you know, you said you guys have been doing a lot of those trainings. Have you really implemented a lot of those new changes or new technology into a lot of different buildings to make that happen?
We have had some customers implement some of those. IDL is kind of doing that research of what makes sense, what is the energy impact? Because a lot of what we're happening now with the pandemic is we're adding more fresh air into the building. We're trying to add more fresh air into the building, which is actually energy penalty. That costs more money the more fresh air you bring. If you're bringing it in, for example, the spring or fall when it's 60 or 70 degrees out, well, that's great. That's not an energy penalty, or less of an energy penalty, I should say. But when you're bringing it out in a Boise summer, we're bringing in, 100-degree air possibly in the middle of the day, and we want to bring in the most fresh air as we can, or the middle of the winter where it's 9 degrees, that is an energy penalty. So IDL doing that research of what systems are available to bring either more outdoor air in, or filter that air, or treat that air in some manner, is really going to be able to lay out what is the best situation and what are the energy penalties involved with that.
That's super interesting. Yeah,
that is.
Yeah. So a lot of what they're working on, it sounds like, is, new equipment versus, retrofitting or fixing existing equipment to do what you're talking about.
Right. Yes, correct. And most HVAC units aren't designed to handle 100% outdoor air. That's just not how they're designed. They're handled to handle a percentage of outdoor air, but not 100%. So now like my example of the summers in Boise and the winters in Boise, now you're trying to make existing equipment do stuff that it's not designed for. So that involves, some commissioning, seeing if there is some ability, or is there some other solutions. And these are things that IDL can help our customers out, existing or new, on the best way to handle that. And they are getting a lot more calls on that now than obviously ever before.
Interesting. Yeah.
Well, there's so much building going on anyway, right? So are you finding that when you look at these programs and you're looking at the education tools that people can take advantage of, I mean, I know your job specifically is new construction, but are you finding that even existing buildings are looking to make some of these improvements, or is it more we're doing a new building and so we want to start with this?
We're seeing both. We are seeing both. Right now, we're seeing a lot of the buildings trying to find out a way to bring in that fresh air in the pandemic and bring in more air. But also, it's going to change how we construct buildings as well. Like I said, most of the existing HVAC systems aren't designed to handle 100% outdoor air. And maybe that's not the right solution. Maybe some type of filtration system is the better scenario. So we are handling both. We will take pretty much any question that a customer has that has to do with electric energy efficiency. IDL will help them out and will, help them, whether it's research, whether it's talking to vendors and finding out information for them. They really will help them out with any question they have when it comes to saving electricity.
Awesome. Well, I know people are mindful of that, that, and that is something that I sort of considered, but it has to be affecting both residential and commercial, the changes that have occurred in the past year, right? Not just taking a closer look at your air quality or your energy output or anything like that, but the fact that people are spending now more time at home, right? Where the energy output wouldn't normally be as high in your home. And then the offices that are quieted down over the past year and that are now hopefully in 2021 are going to start being inhabited a little more, but differently also.
Right.
So let me ask you this, and this is going to totally put you on the spot. You don't even have to answer, but I'm just,
you can say pass.
Maybe I'll just throw this out there. Maybe you guys have already thought about this, but is there a program that's mindful of how much time employees are spending at home instead of at the office, where a company is like, okay, so now our employee is spending all this time at home and their utility bills have to be going up. So I'm wondering out there if there's companies that are mindful of that. You know, we've got to be mindful because our employee now had to set up their entire home office. They had to do this and this, and their output in their home typically wouldn't be this. But as a company, we're super energy efficient, mindful of being energy efficient. And so our office is set up this way, but we need to make sure our employees too. So you have that culture in your office, right? Whatever office you're in, right? I love that CSHQA building you guys showed in the video. That building, I love it. And I know they took advantage of a lot of those programs, a lot of the natural light. That building is so cool. But it just makes you wonder, I mean, if the architects are working at home and they don't have those, if they're part of that culture, there's got to be programs for residential too that can take advantage of some of these things. So that's a good reminder for people, right? To ask those questions and to find out what you can use in your house that would be more in line with what companies are trying to do to lessen their footprint and to be more energy efficient at the office. Just a thought.
Yeah, we do have residential programs as well. We do have, I'm not as great as filling out what those are as I am on the commercial side, since I primarily work on commercial, but we are the same department. So we do have residential programs. One is heat pumps, offering heat pumps, which are energy savers, because those operate very efficiently during those shoulder months. So we do have residential programs as well. But you're right, people are where our thermostats may have been set back. I know our thermostat used to be set back to where at 7 o'clock in the morning, it's set back, whether it was winter or summer, set back to save energy. And then it came back on at 4 o'clock in the afternoon when people started coming home. And now we're no longer doing that. And even simple things in your home to make it more comfortable, even if the energy savings are small, there's things you can do in your home that save energy that also make it more comfortable. I'll use this example because my husband and I both work from home, and our office is on the north side of our house. It's cold, and so I have to bump the temperature up a couple of degrees because we're working on the north side. Great in the summertime, right? Great in the summertime, it's shaded, it's a little bit cooler, but in the winter it's a little bit chilly, so I have to run my temperature slightly higher. Ideally, we could work on one side of the building in the wintertime when it's colder, work on the south side where the sun's shining in and you're getting that radiant sunshine and heat coming in. And then on the north side, you're working there on the summer to stay a little bit cooler. I mean, there's things you can do to make your house more efficient so you don't have to bump that temperature or make it more comfortable, which we want our customers to use our product. We want to power your home and we want to power your business. We just are asking you to do it. Let's do it in a reliable manner and let us provide you incentives where we can to do that.
Awesome. Well, it's just something, I mean, I know I've heard over the course of the past year, people having to change things at their residence because now they're working there full time. I mean, look at Christian's house. He's done wonderful things down there.
Oh, wonder, yeah. Just down here in the basement all by myself all day, every day.
Nice and cool in the summer though, right, Christian?
Yeah, in the summer it's awesome. Yeah, I actually have a space heater running right now because it's cold out here.
Yeah.
Not efficient.
Well, hopefully at some point, we'll all be back at the office and we'll have these new and improved different things that we've learned, obviously, over the past year. But it's just interesting. I mean, even this conversation today, you think you know what way it's going to go, and then it leads to something else that just is something different, and you just adapt as you go, right? But and I think all of us have learned, a lot in the past year, and I'm wondering. I mean, there's questions I have about, the kids' schools and obviously our kids for elementary school, they attend Amity Elementary. And I know that we have energy efficient things implemented there because it's a brand new school. It's only about 3 years old. And I know, but when it's only half occupied or it's not occupied at all for months on end, then I know there's adjustments that building makes. It's interesting to see, in our city how, and even across the state, the different things that we've heard people doing to adjust, their footprint, so to speak, in this area. So I think that's great. And I think that as BOMA members, listening to our members who have new construction, new buildings, and also who offer services to sort of evaluate what buildings are currently doing, and having BOMA members working together, someone who can evaluate and then someone who can go in there and implement some of the changes. And then someone like Idaho Power to come in and say, okay, well, when you're implementing these changes, make sure that you do it in an energy efficient way, because it's not just an end. Right. You need the means to the end need to make sense for them as well. So tapping in for education, tapping in for benefits for your buildings, for your tenants, if you're a tenant yourself, all these things are reasons why we like to get the word out there and talk to people about what BOMA is doing. So we appreciate that. We appreciate having Idaho Power as a partner. The education arm of our association is so important. So I'm glad, and it's almost overwhelming sometimes to understand all the virtual seminars and education sessions you could be attending, because they're all just right there now. Whereas before, if you missed a class, you're like, oh, well, I missed a class. But now it's there. And
no excuses anymore.
Nope, no excuses. So we really appreciate having Idaho Power as a member and partner to be able to share some of these things with our members.
Yeah. And Sheree, I want to ask you something. So speaking of your, the commercial programs that you work with, is there one of those that is underutilized and like why does nobody use this thing? Is there that one thing that people should know that they don't know about a program?
Well, I think they're all underutilized and you all should be using them. But we have a great incentive for high volume, low speed fans. And that is those large fans like you see in a gym or a gymnasium. And what they do is they help circulate the air and save energy efficiency on your HVAC system. We have an incentive that pays $2,000 per fan. And that is one that I try to remind anybody that has a space like that. If you've got a gym or if you're at a rec space or any of those, or a warehouse even, it's a great incentive out there. And we have a few of those that when I'm talking to a customer based on their building type, I kind of have, I'll show you because I have it sitting here, kind of our basic, like our overview of what our programs are. And this is online. But if you talk to me and give me a call, we can talk through what type of building, and I can point out those incentives that I think make sense for you. And we also have energy advisors in the field. I kind of like to call them their boots on the ground. I'm always available to talk about energy efficiency as well, but our energy advisors are out talking to our customers all the time. So they're residential and commercial both, and they can come out to your home or your business and they can help you through the process, or even help you if you've got an issue, kind of talk through that. I mean, they're really there to help our customers. They're kind of our go-to all. So if you have any Idaho Power question, you'd first go to your energy advisor, and then they can kind of shuffle you to the right people or the right place to go from there. But they're phenomenal as well. We with the pandemic, they haven't been in the field as much as they'd like to. They're normally in customers' homes and businesses. They're starting to do a little bit of that, with safety procedures in place. But also our energy, they are phenomenal. They know a lot about the company and a lot about everything, and so they're really helpful as well.
That's that's something that I never ever would have thought about. That's super cool.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking, in my house, could I fit one of those fans?
You've got to have a really big house.
Yeah, but I'm thinking,
I wish I had a house big enough that I needed one of them.
But how hot is the industrial market right now? The industrial market is such a fast moving segment of the market right now. And this would be something that, hopefully those developers and the people who are constructing those buildings, because they're going up everywhere, hopefully they're mindful of that, because that is something that's super interesting and would make not only that, but would make a kind of a cool design piece, for that space. It just kind of looks cool at the same time as being efficient. And I'm sure there's a lot of that. So
Well, I want to know what else, what other cool stuff do you have like that I might know about? I think that's super cool.
Well, and then always the big saver, which is the big deal, is lighting. You know, the LED market and lighting is changing so quickly. You know, we can hardly keep up. Things are moving so quickly. So lighting is usually the best bang for your buck. It's usually going to get you a decent incentive, as well as it's going to save quite a bit. And the costs have dropped so much with LED that it also makes sense. It usually has very quick payback. So lighting is always the first thing to consider, whether it's a new construction or a retrofit. Always consider lighting first. And then we have HVAC measures. We have measures for reflective roofing. So putting in a white reflective roofing versus a dark roof that reflects the sun and allows your building to be more efficient. We have incentive for that. So we really kind of have a whole suite of prescriptive items we offer. Kind of like when I talk about the high volume, low speed fan, you do this and you get that incentive. We have these prescriptive suite of measures. But if you have something that's going on outside the realm and you can still show the energy savings, electric energy savings, we also have a custom portion of our program. So we always say, go to the prescriptive portion first, what makes sense for you here, and then tell us what else you're doing. And we have a whole separate section of custom engineers that do those calculations and figure out those savings. So it's great if we are involved. We always say, get us involved sooner versus later, because we can walk through down that road and what makes sense. Maybe it is just the prescriptive measures. Those are kind of made to kind of incent all building types. The more industrial, larger customers that have maybe manufacturing, that's where custom kind of comes into play.
Nice. Nice.
Well, also, I mean, think about your outdoor design spaces that you do, Krisjan, and some of the programs that you could be utilizing. I mean, it's interesting to think about these things in a way that I haven't thought about them before.
Yeah. So I know, you were talking about lighting. I know, 10 years ago, replacing, fluorescent, fluorescent lamps and stuff was a big thing. Are there still any fluorescent lamps out there, or, ballasts and stuff out there that need to be replaced?
They are. Idaho still does have some. We still can offer incentives for them because we can show that we still do have buildings out there that haven't changed. Depending on the business, some might be in a financial situation that's really hard to even do that. So we're trying to keep those incentives as long as we possibly can to try to move as many people as possible to get rid of those and move on to LEDs. But yeah, we still have customers that still have the fluorescent for sure.
That's funny. Interesting. Yeah. I figured those had all been swapped out by now.
No, I mean, everybody has their own financial constraints. So, some small businesses are, if they don't have the ability to do that, we're going to keep those incentives as long as we can, because we'd love to incent them to change them out, though.
Sure.
Awesome.
So when you talk about lighting incentives, because before, it was retrofitting the, fluorescence to LED. Is it now, and this is a super ignorant question, but now is it like first generation, second generation LED to newer, more efficient LEDs? Is that a thing?
It is. The best thing that's occurring, though, is when LEDs first came into the market, there was quite a few products that weren't the highest quality. So some of that is going away, and we're getting higher quality products in the marketplace, but they are getting more efficient. I feel like there's going to be a point of diminishing return where they're at that point where they can't. I don't know if we're there yet or not. But for sure, quality has improved with those LEDs too throughout the last 10 years.
Interesting. So what's the next, who knows, but in your opinion, what's the next big, cool innovation in the world of Idaho Power and, efficiency in general?
Well, I think that we are going to see more interest in passive designs, where passive design is where they're bringing more outdoor air in and using less electricity on those shoulders months. But because of the pandemic, because of what we've seen with IAQ, I think that is going to be the next thing that buildings are really paying attention to. Some of our buildings, our customers like the hospitals and stuff, they have always been paying attention to that. But our typical office buildings, they may not have been. And I think that is going to be the new trend, is where can we have passive systems that are bringing in outdoor air and flushing the building? I think those are going to be the next trend.
Cool.
And we're in a world that I don't know that this, at least from listening to some of the medical professionals, it's not like there's going to be a day this pandemic's over and everything's just back to normal and we forget what happened. I think this is going to be an imprint on how we design and build buildings in the future.
Yeah.
Sure. No, I totally agree.
I think it's going to affect us for a long time to come. And I know that architects, engineers are working together to change some of those designs even. The processes within the buildings, but also the designs of the buildings. I think that we're going to see something different in the future than we've been accustomed to in the past, even when we have a world that's more healthy than it is right at this moment.
Right. Well, and ASHRAE is an organization we do some work with as well and offer some training. And ASHRAE really is gone forward and has taken that on, and they are doing a lot of that research and a lot of that development, which engineers and architects will take forward. So ASHRAE as an organization is really out there looking at those things and coming out with new recommendations. I'm sure those recommendations are changing with everything that's going on as people learn more, and they will probably continue to evolve.
Well, and I know that BOMA partners with ASHRAE on the national level, especially. They consult with each other in really providing the most information they can on how people can be in buildings and create healthy, sustainable buildings. And a lot of that information comes from both organizations.
Yeah. And ASHRAE, do they have a local chapter or whatever?
Yeah. They do. They do have a local chapter. Mm-hmm.
Huh. I mean, I'm just thinking out.
Once. Yep, go ahead.
I was going to say,
yeah. They meet once a month.
They do. It is smaller. It's a smaller chapter here than BOMA. BOMA is a bigger organization, but we have in the past talked with them, and I think some of the members of BOMA are also members of ASHRAE who are in that field. There's a benefit to being in both. But yeah, the international organization and in some other markets, BOMA is heavily involved with ASHRAE and doing some things. We've done a couple of things with them in the past. When we did the BEAT program through BOMA International, and we had a lot of engineers come in, ASHRAE was involved with us with that. We've done some things over the years with, the air quality of buildings, but it has never been such a focal point as it is right now.
Well, that's what I was going to say moving forward, as we've been talking about new programs for, 2021 and stuff. I mean, that definitely might be something worth considering is doing something jointly together with, BOMA, Idaho Power, and ASHRAE to, get all this new information and research in front of as many people as possible.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
You're on it.
Okay, yeah. Let's make it happen.
All right.
Okay. Well, cool. Well, I've got to get running to another meeting here shortly. So I think we'll call it a day right here. So ladies, thank you so much. Sheree, any parting thoughts? Just let everybody know how to find, all this information we've been talking about.
Sure. You can always go to our website, idahopower.com. idahopower.com/new construction takes you directly to the program I manage. You can also reach out to me as well. We have a new construction at idahopower.com email. That's the general email that goes to me as well. Let us know how we can help, because we really are here to help you. We can help walk you through it, and we'll spend the time helping you and figuring out what's the best path for you. What do you have going on, and how can we help you?
Very cool. Very cool. Sheree, thank you so much for doing this.
Yep. Thank you, Krisjan. Thank you, Jana.
Yeah. We'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Have a good afternoon,
Have a good day. Bye.